In the vibrant and pulsating streets of Cape Town, South Africa, the night ignites with an electric energy. The air is filled with the intoxicating beats of dance music, drawing crowds to witness the mesmerizing spectacle unfolding before them. Here we are introduced to Melia Martin, the fierce and talented female protagonist of our story, whose passion for dance is unrivaled. She enters a club and starts dancing, her moves commanding attention and admiration. There is a dance battle going on between Melia's and another group. After the battle ends, Melia and the girl from the other group laugh and hug each other. Turns out her name is Nadine, and she is Melia's lifelong best friend. They both have known one another from the time they were born, since their mothers are best friends. Their conversation is interrupted by Melia's boyfriend, Eric Wildwood, and his friend Laser. Laser flirts with Nadine, but she pushes him away. While Nadine goes off to get her some drinks, Melia is stopped in her tracks by Ishani Mfik, an enigmatic force, who challenges her for a real battle. The battle begins, but is stopped when things get messy and security intercepts. Ishani backs up, leaving the battle unfinished, but with a lingering promise of a fierce rivalry to come. The battle may be paused, but the dance of destiny is far from over. It's only just begun. As the new day begins, Melia steps into the halls of a prestigious South African school. An American dance student with fire in her soul. She tells Eric about the events of last night. Excitement bubbles within her as she animatedly reveals how she stumbled upon the mesmerizing Ishani, who gifted her with awe-inspiring moves for her upcoming Romeo and Juliet thesis. In the tender moments of their encounter, a palpable chemistry ignites between Melia and Eric. One thing is certain, they are utterly, irrevocably smitten with each other. In the midst of her flawless dance performance in class, fate takes an unexpected turn as Melia is abruptly summoned to the administrator's office. When she comes out of the administrator's office, a haunting expression of hurt and vulnerability is etched on her once confident face. Eric tries to comfort her, but she snaps with raw emotion, feeling utterly misunderstood and alone in her struggle. Caught in the midst of a turbulent storm, Melia and Eric's hearts are still entwined in a dance of their own. With the promise of calling him later, she leaves. Back in the comfort of her home, Melia musters the courage to tell her caring uncle, Simon, that because her tuition is overdue, she can't return to school. She is sad because she screwed up everything, but her uncle comforts her by reminding her of the fierce resilience that lies within. His unwavering belief in her talents and intelligence becomes a lifeline, pulling her from the depths of sadness. Later, Melia meets Eric at a diner, and she unveils her audacious escape plan from the suffocating mess that engulfs her dreams. She shares a tender revelation that the Romeo and Juliet play was her mom's favorite. Driven by an unyielding desire to honor her memory, Melia vows to breathe life into the timeless tale like never before, undeterred by the school's verdict. After Eric departs, leaving her with a pocket full of hope, she starts looking for jobs. But it seems the world seems reluctant to embrace the soul-stirring rhythm of her hip-hop choreography. She later goes to the school Nadine teaches in, and on her way back home, destiny's whims bring her face to face with Ishani. She, along with her friends, tries to make fun of Melia, and the air crackles with tension as derisive laughter threatens to break her resolve. But her crew emerges, a united front that challenges the mockery with fierce grace, and Ishani backs down. In the heart of the city lies a forgotten gem, the majestic Bijou Theater, where memories of a bygone era come alive. As Melia steps through its weathered doors, a familiar face greets her, Mr. Wright. He recognizes her immediately, and she asks him for a favor, that before he sells the place, he lets her host her show here. Against all odds, Mr. Wright's heart softens, and he agrees to breathe life into the theater once more, just for her. With the stage set and dreams within reach, she brings Eric to the theater, and they start working on it, and their show. Melia takes to the streets like a whirlwind, clutching pamphlets of the show and seeking out talent scattered throughout the city. One day at the beach, Melia stumbles upon a dazzling discovery, Dajon, a dancer that ignites the stage like a shooting star. Excitement bubbles within her as she rushes to share the news with Eric, that she has found the perfect Romeo for the show. With fate on her side, she bumps into Taj, a music creator. A daring idea takes root within Melia's heart, and with courage in her eyes, she extends an invitation to him, hoping he'll compose the music her show craves. But he humbly declines, saying that he is a bit busy with his career. After he leaves, Ishani warns Melia to stay away from him. But seeing her fondness for Taj, Melia just asks her to look at the way he treats her, like a brother, and reminds him he can get any girl he likes. At the theater, Melia and her crew pour their hearts and souls into every beat, every step, with an enthusiasm that sets the stage ablaze. Amidst the pulsating rhythm, Eric's eyes betray a hint of jealousy, witnessing Melia's mesmerizing dance with the captivating Dajon. But she eases his tension by telling him that Dajon is gay. A heartfelt laughter breaks the tension, and he asks her out, but she says that she has a lot to do before the big show. He leaves, and she immerses herself back into the world of practice. At home, she goes through some videos of classical Romeo and Juliet, seeking inspiration from the echoes of the past. Her uncle tells her to stop watching what happened years ago, but focus instead on speaking to her audience of the present time. At his words, something clicks in her, and her eyes sparkle. With newfound clarity, she gathers her devoted crew, and together they decide to infuse their show with a spellbinding tone that will resonate with the hearts of their contemporary spectators. While they are discussing the new idea, Taj arrives and gives her the music he composed for the last scene of the show. As the enchanting melody fills the air, Melia and her crew surrender to its irresistible rhythm, their bodies moving with an electrifying grace that captivates all who bear witness. Eric arrives, sees them dancing on a new composition, and gets hurt. With disappointment on his face, he looks at the USB drive in his hand and leaves. Melia calls after him, but when he doesn't turn back, she dismisses his arrival as something not so important. After the practice session they pack up, Melia extends her heartfelt thanks to Taj for the soul-stirring music he gifted them, and in response he invites them all to a party he is hosting. But after knowing that Ishani will also be there, a shadow of uncertainty looms over her heart, and she tries to back off. But he reveals the truth behind Ishani's facade. Beneath the layers of bravado, she carries the weight of a tragic loss, her brother's life senselessly taken by a heartless gang. Later, she goes to Eric's place and watches him through the window, her heart swelling with adoration as she watches him create music with an effortless charm. When she gets into the room, she praises his work. He then tells her that he has already written the music for the last scene. She apologizes and says that she can't do anything without his support. However, a cloud of hurt hangs heavy between them. And Eric's words sting, as he remarks on how she appeared to be fine without him earlier, solely fixated on her artistic endeavor. With resolve in her voice, she says that this is important to her, and she feels obligated to do this show. Eric sighs, understanding where she is coming from, and whispers in her ear that no matter what, he is a better dancer than Taj. He plays the music on his phone, and they both begin to dance, shedding the weight of misunderstandings, emerging stronger and united, ready to face the world. Next day at Bijou, while practicing, a moment of revelation dawns upon Melia as she observes a missing piece in their performance. Determined to bridge the gap, she gathers her devoted crew, their eyes eager and hearts open. Turns out none of them know about the real story behind the play. She sits them all down and delves into the timeless tale of Romeo and Juliet, a fleeting love story veiled in tragedy, a poignant reflection of the world they inhabit. To make them all understand, she intertwines the play's themes of violence, revenge, and murder with the harsh realities of their own lives within the flats, where lives are tragically cut short for reasons unknown. After she finishes explaining the plot, everyone hoots with appreciation and immerses themselves in practice, fueled by a newfound sense of purpose and unity. After the practice, her ex-schoolteacher, who is also a part of the show, appreciates her work, but gives her some advice to find a second choreographer, who will be a guiding hand that will elevate their show to new heights. Later at Taj's party, tensions simmer as Ishani confronts him for extending a helping hand to Melia with the music for her show. But he is shocked because she was the one who always pushed him to do something to help the flats, and now that he is doing it, she is not so happy. As she storms away, she collides with Melia, who has just arrived at the party. But this time, instead of fighting back, Melia says that she is here to bridge the chasm between them with words, not fists. She offers her a chance to work on the show, but Ishani lashes out that after the show is over, Melia will go back to the USA, and they will be left behind without any hope. But with unwavering determination, Melia says that they will not stop after a single show. Together, they will sow seeds of change and create lasting impact. As the party's energy swirls around them, the tension between Melia and Ishani crackles, and with a flicker of hope in her eyes, she agrees. The next day at practice, she introduces a stunning twist to her crew, Ishani, as the new co-choreographer of the show, and she will also be dancing the role of Tybalt. The practices resume, and Ishani observes everything, calling it all old school. Melia gives her the go-ahead to show them what she got, and she takes the lead. Everyone appreciates what she brings to the team, even Nadine, who is now convinced of her talent. While they are dancing, Taj arrives and tells Melia that he listened to Eric's music, and he will be providing lyrics for it. She thanks him and compliments him that his girl Ishani is amazing, but he laughs it off, saying that she isn't his girl. Ishani sees them both laughing, and an unexpected emotion flares within her. With the dance practice stretching from morning to night, an underlying aggression laces her movements, hinting at the tumultuous storm brewing within. Amidst the whirlwind of rehearsals, an ominous cloud looms over Melia's heart, as the troubling news of slow ticket sales reaches their ears. The pressure mounts, for a full house is crucial to afford the rent on the rec center. The next morning, Ishani introduces Melia to her mom and her sister, Kiara. Both of the Mfique women are skilled seamstresses, and they extend their hands in support, offering their help to ready the costumes they still need for the show. After the girls leave, Ishani's mom thanks Melia for tasking Ishani on board, but all she replies is that she can't do this show without Ishani. In the heartwarming exchange, gratitude and determination collide, shaping a moment of connection between Melia and Ishani's mother. With a shared purpose and the strength of familial support, they set to work. One day, while dancing with Ishani, Dajon gets injured. Rushing him to the hospital, Melia's heart beats with anxiety and worry as they discover his fractured ankle. With the show's fate hanging by a thread, the need for a new Romeo becomes urgent. Desperate for another Romeo, she rushes to Eric and asks for his help. Now with Eric playing Romeo, the chemistry between Romeo and Juliet changes for the better. However, the harmony of their artistic pursuit is shattered when Taj insists on replacing the music, claiming Melia can do better, but Eric doesn't like it, and they get into a fist fight. Ishani stops Taj, and with fearless candor, exposes the undeniable tension brewing between Eric and Taj, a rivalry born out of their shared affection for Melia. Melia attempts to halt Ishani's revelation, but the words have already pierced the air like arrows finding their mark, and she leaves, saying that it was Melia who said that Taj could have any girl he wants, and now he wants Melia. She goes after Ishani and tries to explain to her that she is madly in love with Eric, but Ishani replies that they both know that she is after Taj, and is cheating on her boyfriend. The air crackles with anger and heartache, as Melia's attempt to defend herself is met with Ishani's unyielding resolve. She gets angry and calls her crazy, but Ishani leaves confirming that yes, she is crazy, because she let herself get involved in any of this in the first place. Disappointed and hurt, Melia goes back to the theater, where a painful confrontation with Eric leaves her speechless and shattered. The love that once bound them now stands fractured, and she watches helplessly as he walks away, leaving her world in disarray. As she steps inside, a haunting silence envelops the once vibrant space, now emptied by the departure of everyone except Nadine. Amidst tears and anguish, Melia confides in her closest confidante, feeling the weight of the universe on her shoulders. Nadine tells her that all that happened is a sign that she should stop, regroup, and try to make it work another time. Melia's heart aches with longing as she desperately reaches out to Eric, hoping for a flicker of connection. But the phone remains silent, his absence echoing like an empty void. He is heartbroken and goes through their pictures, finding solace in them, but never calls her back, instead channeling his emotions into creating new music. On the other hand, Taj finds Ishani walking down the road, and despite her initial resistance, he insists she join him in his car, their journey leading to an isolated haven for an intimate heart-to-heart conversation. When asked about her problem, she gets angry and says that he is obsessed with a girl who doesn't even care about him. He is the one who has a problem, and not her. Not understanding her sudden outrage, he questions her, but Ishani, a master of concealing her true feelings, veils her vulnerability, feigning concern as a friend and pushing aside her own desires. But this time, the universe is in her favor. Taj turns her around, bares his soul before her, and confesses his feelings. That yes, he is crazy about a girl, but that girl is not Melia. In a moment suspended in time, Ishani gazes at Taj with wide-eyed disbelief, but he holds her hands and says that he comes to Cape Town every chance he gets to see her. He did everything to impress her, and now he can't hide his feelings anymore. With his eyes on her face, he confesses his love for her, and she leans in to seal this with a soul-stirring kiss. Later, Ishani and Taj go to Eric's place for a monumental conversation that will change the course of their lives. Taj then goes for an interview at the radio station, and there, he announces the hip-hop Romeo and Juliet show. Melia gets a call from Ishani, who asks her to turn on the radio, and she obliges, not knowing that her world is about to be turned upside down. The waves of shock crash over her as Taj promotes her show. But she is even more surprised when she hears that Eric is also in the studio, and they both will be collaborating on it. Eric says that he has put his heart and soul into creating the music, just for the love of his life. The host asks for a demo of their new venture, and as the music echoes through the airwaves, its infectious beats spread, igniting a frenzy of dancing across the city. The news about Taj's involvement in Melia's show spreads like wildfire, and the ticket sales soar to unprecedented heights, until every last ticket is snatched up, leaving the theater with the promise of a packed house. Mr. Wright is in his office, vibing to the show on the radio, when Miss Lee, the woman who wants to buy Bijou, arrives, angry because of the show being held at the theater. Threats of ending the deal loom in the air like storm clouds, but instead of capitulating, Mr. Wright stands firm, his resolve unwavering. With a cool and composed demeanor, he unleashes a powerful response, reminding her that the contract doesn't forbid the theater from operating, leaving her with no grounds to halt the show. He challenges her to see beyond the confines of a mere business transaction, and truly understand the heartbeat of the community. Eric is at the studio when Melia arrives. Without a second thought, she rushes into Eric's open arms, and they embrace with a fervor that transcends time and space. In this crescendo of emotions, the echoes of their love reverberate through the walls of the studio, a melody of hope and renewal. Later, at the last practice before the show, Eric's mesmerizing dance captivates the room, but Melia asks him to stop, because she doesn't like the fact that they all end up deceased at the end. Eric advises her to change the story, to take control, and not have another tragedy. Everyone agrees on this new way of portraying the story. With every heartbeat they unite in their resolve to break free from the shackles of tradition, crafting a fresh tale of love that defies the boundaries of fate. Amidst a sea of nerves and electrifying anticipation, the long-awaited night of the show unfolds. The air crackles with an intoxicating mix of excitement and trepidation, as each member of the cast is meticulously adorned by Ashani's mom, their anticipation building with every breath. As the momentous transformation takes place, a collective gasp escapes their lips, witnessing the breathtaking beauty of Melia as Juliet, her presence radiating like a star in the night sky. She motivates them all, and the show begins. The curtains part to reveal a narrator, weaving a tale of timeless love between two souls destined for tragedy. The hush of anticipation is broken by thunderous applause, the audience enveloped in the magic of the moment. The knight takes flight as he announces the start and everyone applauses. The hip-hop rendition of the classic Romeo and Juliet begins with introducing both the families and the bad blood between them. Then it's the scene of party at Juliet's place, where Paris asks for Juliet's hand in marriage, and it is where Romeo sees her for the first time, and it's love at first sight. Melia and Eric dance together, the audience hoots at their amazing chemistry, and the atmosphere sets on fire when they share an intimate kiss. The scene switches to the fight between both the families, fighting with swords in their hands. During this fight, Tybalt is ended by Romeo, and the audience gasps. As the curtain falls, plunging the theater into a moment of darkness, the backstage becomes a buzzing hive of exhilaration and nervous energy. Eric is super happy at how smoothly everything is going, and Melia's eyes glisten with tears of joy, a bittersweet wish lingering in her heart for the presence of her late mother to witness this extraordinary triumph. Eric hugs her, but their endearing moment is interrupted by Laser, who announces the end of intermission. With the return of the lights, the stage comes alive once more as the narrator's voice fills the air. He says that it is a tale where blissful beginnings may lead to tumultuous ends. The audience is held captive in the enigmatic tale, left to ponder the fate of the star-crossed couple, their hearts fluttering with anticipation. The show resumes with Melia and Eric on stage. They dance for their love, but Romeo runs away when Juliet's parents arrive, along with Paris. They ask her to marry Paris, but she doesn't budge. Being forced to marry the man she doesn't desire, in a heart-wrenching act of defiance against fate, she clutches its bitter taste, a symbol of her undying love for Romeo. As the venom courses through her veins, the angel of the afterlife dances around her. With an air of mystique, the narrator returns, weaving a tale of sacrifice and devotion that grips the audience's souls. He says that Juliet sacrificed herself for her love, but will Romeo be able to arrive in time to rescue his beloved before the sands of time slip away? Juliet is laid on the casket, with her mourning family beside her. After they leave, Romeo arrives. She cries beside her, and his love brings her back to life. Right when he is about to she stops him. Seeing the love of his life back, he sprints into her arms, their souls intertwining in a passionate embrace. The show ends as their love soars, defying every obstacle in its path and triumphing against all odds. The epic conclusion of the show erupts with an electric energy that leaves the audience spellbound. They rise to their feet as one, their thunderous applause a testament to the profound impact of love's enduring power. A standing ovation ensues, an explosive outpouring of admiration and awe that reverberates through the very foundation of the theater. As the final curtain falls with thunderous applause, the crew erupts into a euphoric celebration, their hearts swelling with pride and joy at the resounding success of the show. Their celebration is interrupted by Miss Lee and Mr. Wright, who congratulate Melia on having a sold-out show. In this touching moment, Melia's heart brims with gratitude as she seizes the opportunity to honor two precious souls who once graced her life. She humbly requests a favor, asking that the dance center be dedicated to the memories of her beloved mother and Ashani's cherished brother. The applause of the crew echoes like a heartbeat, as the tapestry of life weaves together, stitching hearts and souls into a harmonious melody. The movie ends with Melia stepping out of the majestic dance center, its name shining in glowing letters above the entrance, the Karina Martin and Emmanuel Mfique Dance Center. She emerges into the radiant light, a smile tugging on her lips. The weight of emotions washes over her, tears of joy mingling with an overwhelming sense of pride and gratitude.